Monty?
Henry, what are you doing here?
You and I are going on a small trip to Manafell.
What, right now? Lady Stavell will go mad.
You get your lordy ass to Manafell before I kick it there.
Henry, I'm in the middle of my busiest summer season since records began. I can't just leave.
Monty?
Henry?
I don't ask twice.
I was returned from Manafell a day later.
Goodbye, Monty. It was good to catch up.
I was sporting a large bruise on the back of my head, but with a task ahead of me. Things on the Redwick and Chiltern Hills Railway had taken a turn for the worse since I'd last managed to get a hold of Mr. Stard. The poor man was up to his eyes in bureaucracy. However, I was directed to the engine I'd so proudly built and delivered to Mr. Stard not 3 years earlier. My opinion was that such a proud young locomotive had been left in such a state should be a crime. The fiends that had attempted a coup on that railway would stoop to lows I didn't think possible, something I duly warned my son, Robert, about. When I'd seen the state of Redwick Cathedral, I was more than happy to oblige Mr. Stard's request to bring Reggie home to New Wessex for a full and thorough overhaul. It was just a case of getting him home. I would only give this task to an engine I could trust fully and completely.
I've seen a shadow at night. It passes through the station late at night when you're not here.
You're seeing things again, Wyvern, my dear. There aren't any light engine moves overnight here on the island.
I know what I've seen.
You understand why we might not believe you. You keep talking to William, whoever the hell that is.
He's my older brother.
And he's not been on the island since 1925.
All right, I may have my moments, but I swear I'm seeing something at night.
Good evening, all. Oh, hello, sir. How can we help you? Well, Hercules, you'll be helping me out, as it is. Oh, I will. How so? I can't say much, but tomorrow, after you've slept, I need you to go to Manafell Works to speak to Mr. Stard. Mr. Stard? I hope it's finally some good news. God knows that man's been through some hard times. Good and bad, Hercules. You'll see what I mean when you get there. Very well, sir. With the summer evenings stretching the days out, I left as the last of the daylight finally receded behind the horizon, and it was time for Hercules to couple up to the completed train at the end of the yard.
Or you, Hercules, at attention when I'm talking to you, laddie.
Attention nothing, old darling. I'm moving out. Important things to do, you know.
You wait till I get you on a missions train, lovely boy.
Toodaloo, Windsor.
Up starts Amphibian.
Hercules chuckled as he left the yard with his heavy load. Although not quite a Windsor's night, he enjoyed the summer nights almost as much. The warmth and the light of the day not quite gone, a slither of light still hung in the western sky. Hercules was quickly up to speed and was soon passing through New Harlech, with just the lonely station porter watching him pass.
Night, Hercules.
Good night, lads. Night, Hercules. Have a safe journey. The sun was beginning to rise when Hercules finally made it to Chiltern Hills Metals, and by the time he'd arrived at Redwick, the sun was already well above the horizon, and many of the engines were leaving for their day's duties. Good morning, all.
Huh.
Hello, Hercules. You seem in good spirits.
I am indeed, my dear.
What's going on then?
Nothing I can mention in front of some of the company present, but I can assure you that it is, whatever it is, good news.
Well, we could do with good news right about now, as you well know.
I do indeed, young Ramsay. I can assure you you'll be happy when you find out.
Why not tell us now and save everyone the bother of waiting?
Oh, shut up, arse. If he can't say, he can't say.
Oh, come on. It's just going to be another silly contract between the two lunatics that you call controllers, probably embezzling money from somewhere to fund their silly little railway dreams.
How much further up Mr. Knox's rear do you have to be before I stop hearing you speak, Hart?
Just because I put my faith in a controller that puts my interests first and isn't a murderer.
I'm not interested. You are one of the most vexing villains I have ever met, indulging in a veil of vanity only equalled by the vacancy of brain cells, whilst you vanguard venal and virulent vermin as they push a vendetta of vindictiveness upon this railway.
What?
I don't like you.
Join the club, they're t-shirts.
I try to avoid you, like I managed to do to the Midland lot on the island, but you have a proclivity for interrupting and providing your misguided opinion where I can very much assure you it is not wanted. Now, be off with you. The Hall gave the engines a shocked glance as he left the sheds.
I have no idea what you said to him, but I've never heard an engine stand up to him quite as impressively as that before.
That was quite brilliant, Hercules.
I've wanted to say that for a while. He's so dreadfully tiresome, and now he's gone. Hercules lowered his voice. I can tell you one small thing about what may or may not be occurring.
Go on.
Redwick is going home. And if you tell anyone I told you, I'll bring Wyvern with me on my next trip and leave him here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to get some sleep. Busy day ahead of me today, you know. The big engine sidled to the back of the shed and was soon asleep, leaving Ramsay and Drax to excitedly whisper to each other. Back on New Wessex, the day was just beginning and the three Cathedral amigos were prepping themselves for another day's hard work.
Ah, peace and serenity. I can wake up naturally and not to arguments or random ramblings. It's absolute bliss.
I do rather miss the hustle of a big city depot. What's going on?
I'm with Bexford, mostly. I'm enjoying the peace and quiet up here. Must be what it's like to be Red up at Redwick.
Talking of him, have you seen him recently?
Not for a while, actually. Usually he'd be in London around the same time as the Wyvern arrives, but what with all the changed timetables and stuff, I haven't seen him.
Even then, when was the last time you, saw him at all?
You have a good point, Bexford. now I really think of it, must have been since before the summer, at least. I hope he's alright.
Maybe he failed again. You said he failed on the same day that you did. Perhaps he wasn't as lucky with his spare parts as you were.
Well, we'll see. Maybe Stovey will have some answers.
Maybe he does.
Or maybe I shouldn't disturb him. You know, he's got enough on his plate at the moment.
Pick a lane, man.
Alright, four-wheelers, keep your hat on. Manchester laughed whilst Bexford protested, once again, against the four-wheeled coach claim, before they one by one departed towards Alfriston to begin their day's work. Hercules awoke at Redwick Sheds in the afternoon. The summer sun was high in the sky, and a warm breeze blew across the sheds. The engines filling the shed had changed, and he was now sharing it with two engines he recognised as Axel and Levi. Afternoon, Hercules. Axel, Levi, my dear engines, how good it is to see you both.
The same to you, Hercules.
Glad to hear it. I'm glad you're here, actually, Hercules. It's nice to have a friendly conversation every now and then. I don't half get funny looks from some of the others when I come here now. Yeah, well, you know why that is. Yes, I do, and I'm still not sure what Mr. Start's friendship with Lord Stavella's got to do with my relations with you lot.
You know full well why, even if it is a bit bonkers.
I may know why, but I don't understand why. I thought we were past all this childish bickering and infighting. Talking of infighting, I'm glad I caught you today, Herc. And why would that be? Rumours are Hades has been spotted again. I won't take my own personal woes of the past back to New Wessex with me. I can't be doing that during this summer season. Lord Stavell is busy. We're already an engine down. You have to act before he does. It might already be too late. Look, I'll keep an eye out for anything suspicious, boys, but right now I have bigger issues that must be taken care of more urgently. If it makes you feel better, you can update me with any information you may have every time I come back here. I can assess the situation as and when.
All right, Hercules. Just be careful.
I always am, Levi. Hercules departed the shed and headed for Manifel.
Do you think you'll take that on board, Axel?
For all our sakes, I hope so. Hercules drifted down the line to the junction station of Eastwood. This is where he'd been told he'd be able to pick up Mr. Stard.
Ah, Hercules, it's good to see you.
Likewise, sir. Now, what can I do for you?
Not here, Herc. We need to go down to Manifel Works, and I'll explain everything.
Right you are, sir. Jump aboard.
I can't. I'm not allowed on British Railways matters.
All right. Am I meeting you there?
I'll drive down and meet you at the works.
Mr. Stard and Hercules made their way down to Manifel separately. Hercules finally approached the shed, where, sat at the back, was the dirty hulk of Redwick Cathedral. Oh, Reginald, my dear boy, look at the state of you.
It's not pretty, is it, Hercules?
Mr. Stard appeared from the shadows. No, it's not. I cannot believe this. How has one of Alfredson's sons ended up like this?
I was demoted from the Redwick Flyer and put on stopping passenger trains. The evil bastards found a way around the hire clause. Somehow, they managed to get it interpreted as any passenger service and not solely the Redwick Flyer. I kept breaking down due to bad quality parts and crap maintenance schedules. Until now, the parts have run out and they don't care for me anymore. I can't get him fixed here, and I can't get him back on the Eastwood branch either. But Lord Stavell has kindly agreed to take Reggie in at Alfredston Works. You know, overhaul him with good quality parts, run him in and get him back in the swing of hauling express trains, build his confidence back up again.
Implying something is afoot down here then, sir?
The winds are changing, Hercules. That's all I'm saying. Now, Reggie is booked into the works beginning tomorrow, and I need you to take him home on your overnight goods train. Can you do that?
Of course I can, sir. Am I taking him with me to the goods yard, or...?
No, I'll have him made ready for the journey here, and you can pick him up on your way through.
Very good, sir. Now, if you'll excuse me, Sir Reginald, I must get back to Redwick. I will see you later.
Goodbye, Hercules.
Hercules backed out of the shed and headed towards Redwick again. Meanwhile...
Boo!
Ah! Holy shit, you scared the crap out of me!
Keep the noise down, will you? You know I'm not supposed to be here.
Sorry, sir. What do you want?
Clark, my dear friend, you are staying up late tonight.
What for?
Shunting.
I do that during the day.
Now you're doing it during the night too.
Bastard!
A small team of volunteers from the Eastward branch worked on Reggie at Manifell all day, dismantling what was left of his running gear and oiling his joints and axles to allow for smooth running back to New Wessex. Soon night was falling, and in Redwick, Hercules was simmering nicely, building his strength for a prompt departure. Hart Hall sidled alongside.
Bit early for you to be ready tonight, isn't it? What's the rush, Hercules?
There's engineering works in Wales that will delay me. I need to get away early to stay on schedule.
Uh-huh, sure you do.
What's it to you, anyway? I thought I made our position clear.
Oh, I know. You're still on my railway. I'm just interested, that's all.
Well, don't be. We shouldn't meddle in what isn't our business, Hart.
This is sounding an awful lot like Stard is plotting again. Wouldn't want him to be kicked off the railway so soon after coming back now, would we?
Mind your own business.
Oh, I plan to, Hercules. I very much plan to.
Hart smirks as he left the yard, leaving Hercules' crew to complete the final checks before their departure. They waited, and about 5 minutes later, the signal dropped. Hercules was off. With each beat of his exhaust echoing louder around the city's buildings, he gathered speed with his heavy load and was very quickly up to speed en route to Manifell. Meanwhile, at Manifell, Clark had shunted Reggie over to the Triangle sidings to await the arrival of Hercules.
So, pissing all by yourself, handsome?
The workers over-oiled me. It's not my fault.
All lubed up, huh?
You... what? Pay him no attention. He's being vulgar as usual.
Mr. Stard had emerged from the shadows, intent on seeing off his cathedral.
Mr. Stard, I can't thank you enough for giving me this chance. But of course, we can't have you stuck in the back of the works forever, you know. You're still on finance.
Figures. Tight git.
It was at that moment that Hercules arrived, clattering to a halt beside them. Hello all.
Hello, Herc. Glad to see you remembered to stop.
I think Lord Savell may have killed me if I didn't.
True that. Right. Clark,
Oh, fuck off!
shunt Reggie onto the train.
Hercules detached and allowed Clark to couple Reggie to the train. Once Clark was clear, Hercules then backed onto Reggie. There we are. Are you ready? It's a bit of a longer and slower trip than you'll be used to.
Compared to my time at the back of the workshop, anything will be quick. Once you're overhauled, Reggie, you'll be taking a lot of fast expresses to run you in. Stubby has strict instructions to make sure you're in complete and perfect running order before you even think about coming home. Thank you, sir. Thank you for everything. Don't mention it. Now, Hercules, get this money pit off my railway.
As you wish, sir. See you in a couple of days.
Fuck off, Reggie!
I'll miss you too, Clark.
With that, Hercules took the strain of Reggie and his van train, and with a Herculean effort, he got the train started, and was accelerating gradually out onto the main line.
I really hope this fixes his faults.
Well, if it doesn't, I'll just break him up for spares and sell him back to Stubby.
Wait, what?
Night, Clark!
Bastard!
Baba Booey.
Hercules soon found his rhythm, Reggie and the rest of the train following on smoothly. They passed through empty stations. Reggie wanted more than anything to be able to whistle. He always enjoyed whistling before stations, announcing his presence before flying through and out of sight, but alas, he wasn't able to, and just watched as station buildings flashed by, a blur of lights, and then nothing, just the dark of the night. He heard Hercules humming to himself up front.
I'd almost forgotten what it was like to run at high speeds.
It's even better at this time of night. You've got the railway to yourself, and green signals all the way.
What a life, eh?
Indeed. You can sleep if you want. I won't be offended.
Are you kidding? And miss what's going to be my last journey for a while before I'm pulled apart and put back together again? You're alright. I'm enjoying myself.
Of course. They plunged on into the night. Reggie began to recognise places, even in the dark, and knew when they were getting close to the island. Meanwhile, at Alfredston, Alfred had just arrived with the last train of the night and was waiting for Pilot to take away his coaches.
Hey, Alfred. I just heard that Hercules has got Redwick Cathedral in tow.
That sounds serious.
Yeah, he's been damaged beyond the capabilities of Manafel Works to repair.
Oh, not another one of your conspiracies.
Not mine, honest.
I was joking. Come on, I'll finish up here and we'll go see him in at New Harlech, if he really is coming.
He is, I promise.
Uh-huh. Hercules and Redwick were making good time, and soon they'd left the South Wales main line and were heading south. They entered a tunnel, and after what felt like an eternity, they emerged from the other side. Welcome home, Reginald.
Wait, was that Alfred? And some other cathedrals?
Indeed, Bexford and Manchester, your older brothers.
Could you not have dropped me off there?
Unfortunately not. As much as I'd have liked to, you're booked for the works to start on your overhaul first thing in the morning.
Fair enough. I can't wait to speak to Alfred again. It's been way too long, I miss him.
The two engines continued until they were on approach to Alfriston, where Hercules slowed, and they were soon arriving into the yard. A tank engine was awaiting their arrival.
I bloody knew it.
Good to see you too, Pi.
You look like you had a bad night out in Swansea.
Of course.
Pilot, sort this mess out whilst I take Reggie here to the works.
Why me?
It's your job, isn't it?
Ha.
Reggie laughed as Pilot grumbled away. Hercules pushed Reggie around the yard and finally placed him into the works. Well, here you go, Reggie. Can't wait to see you once you're all fixed up and ready for traffic again.
Thank you so much, Hercules. I'll see you on the other side.
Hercules smiled and backed out of the yard, leaving Reggie alone. He could hear the familiar sound of Alfriston City at night. With that comforting sound, he settled himself down to finally get some sleep, readying himself for tomorrow.
Hello?
Ah!
Hello, Shaw. Hello, Robert. What can I do for you? Well, it's funny you should ask. I've got some more work for you. You do? Yes, it's a funny thing, really. Titan is required back at Alfriston Works for an overhaul, so I need you to cover for him. You mean, go up to Bloodmoor? Yes, and run empty and loaded trains between Bloodmoor and Alfriston. Robert, I can't work at the colliery. I can't go anywhere near one. Well, you'll just have to. Come on, Shaw, you've done very well on the little tasks I've given you before now. But I came to the island to get away from a colliery. I can't go back. If you want to be useful, you'll do as you're told, Shaw. I can't face a colliery again. Come now, Shaw. You said you'd do anything to help me. You weren't lying, were you? No, I wasn't. I just didn't think this would be what you had in mind. So, will you do this job for me? No, I can't. Well, if you won't do this job for me, then I guess I've got no use for you. And I should get an engine down here to drag you to Alfriston for scrapping, then. Scrap? Robert, you can't. I'll go back and work for your father. He'll have me back if I just explain. My father wouldn't give you the time of day. You burnt that bridge when you fucked around and found out the consequences. And now you've been replaced. You won't work on this island ever again if you don't take my offer. All right, I'll do it. That's much better. Report to the Alfriston Yardmaster tomorrow morning. You'll be taking the first empty train to Bloodmore. Titan's trains were huge. You're not going to allow me to take short trains? You can work that out for yourself. Oh, and sure, if you don't want people finding out your hiding place, I'd head to Alfriston now. What do I say when people ask me where I've been? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.